Hey, what is going on, guys? My name's D Free. Welcome back to another Dragon Ball Super discussion video. Today, we're gonna go ahead and just kind of talk about something I've been thinking about for a while, and just the future of Dragon Ball, whether they go this route or not, right? Because we know how Dragon Ball is supposed to end, whether or not they're going to retcon the ending, with the tournament and all that stuff. That's a whole nother debate, not really part of this video, but just going off the basis that they're going to keep it consistent, which is most likely what's going to happen. They may change it a little bit, but most likely it's probably going to stay pretty similar to being the same. Because I said they may change a little bit because they probably have to incorporate, hey, these guys have God power now, and change a little choice dialogue, like, hey, we haven't seen you for 5 years, or whatever the hell she said. But it'll probably remain similar. So that being said, what could the future of the show look like? And taking a look at Dragon Ball Super and what Dragon Ball Super thus far has established, what could the next generation of basically quotes up Z fighters look like, right? Because we know that Oob is going to be a thing. Dragon Ball Super has hinted to Oob several times, I think 2 or 3 times at this point. And it even got to the point where Dende said, you're going to have to train him, Goku, yada, 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 which is obviously foreshadowing for the end of the arc, or the end of the show, basically, where Goku goes off to train with Oob. And another thing that they've kind of done is they've established Pan as being a character with high potential. Super has shown Pan in different scenarios, flying and all these different things. We've seen Pan as a character that could potentially be, a very viable character for this team. And I do like that. I feel like they've taken Pan in a different direction in contrast to GT, not really in regards to what she can do, because you can kind of look at GT Pan as the ultimate outcome of the Pan we've seen thus far, because she can still fly, she's still very powerful, sometimes a little too powerful in GT, but you can still kind of look at it in that way. But more or less, I think that with Pan in particular, they have an opportunity to rewrite her character and not make her the exact same character that she was in in GT. And I would be very intrigued by that. If something like Goku goes off to train with Oob and Pan or something like that, or maybe Goku doesn't actually leave, but Oob just kind of joins them, which makes it a lot easier for Goku to train. I don't want to say Goten and Trunks because they don't seem to too much care towards the end of Z about training and stuff, because that's just kind of what happens with these half-breeds, man. Gohan, those two, they just don't seem to really care so much about fighting. And Pan seems to be very interested in it, but then again, we only really have interaction from Pan at a very, very young age towards the end of Z and stuff. So that seems to be something that they're interested in when they're young, but they kind of just grow out of. Goten, Trunks, and Gohan just all grew out of this thirst for battle, which, like I said, is probably attributed to them being half-breeds, because Goku and Vegeta never freaking grew out of it ever. And they always said that the Saiyans, the full Saiyans, basically have a higher battle thirst. So that's something that they always are interested in. And as far as the next generation of characters goes, you have like Pan, you have Oob, you have Goten and Trunks as being like kind of the older guys there. If you do kind of decide to keep them around, whether they train or not, they're still going to be Super Saiyans. They're still going to be very powerful characters, and some of the strongest characters basically on Earth, and probably in Universe 7, regardless of whether they train or not. That's just the likelihood of that character, especially with the information we've come with Dragon Ball Super, that there's only so many different planets in the universe with actual life forms. So unless things drastically change, they're always going to probably be some of the strongest beings in the universe. So you have those two, you have Oob, you have Pan, and then somebody that I think that they could end a little bit of credence to would be Bulla / Bra, whatever you choose to call her. I think she could be a character that, comes in and trains with Vegeta, and gets interest in fighting, because once again, if you go off GT, she doesn't seem to have any interest at all in fighting. She's a Saiyan, half Saiyan at that. She's more of a Saiyan than Pan is, because Pan is a third Saiyan. So she is a character that they have a chance to once again kind of reimagine, if you will. And I would love to see her basically fighting alongside Pan and Oob and these guys. And the cool thing about Pan and Bulla is, at this point in Dragon Ball Super, they've established, which we've kind of always thought, I guess, in the community, that female Super Saiyans were a thing, but they've outwardly established it. We have these characters in the show, so there's literally no reason, right, as to why Pan and Bulla couldn't achieve it. I think that in a really, really old Toriyama interview, he said, hey, I didn't make Pan go Super Saiyan because I just didn't know how I'd want to make it look. So I'm sure that if you can imagine what Caulifla in particular would look like, which is basically how Pan would look like, just her hair spikes up. Like, I don't understand the difficulties with that. I don't want to go too deep with Kale because Kale is copy-paste Broly, basically. Literally, even in her base form, black hair, very docile natured. I've talked about it before. She's literally Broly. Everything about her. Especially the interaction we see of Broly in the first movie. She's honestly very, very similar, very timid, docile, and then just goes berserker, gets huge buff and everything. Green Aura, same attacks as Broly. She's literally Broly. So I don't really lend too much credence to her, but Caulifla specifically, because she is like an original thing. You know, Kale, like I said, is original, and she is still a female Super Saiyan, but she's a copy-paste. So you can't really go too deep into her. But they have established that as part of the lore, as part of the canon. And I think that a character like Bulla and like Pan, that would be something that would be like groundbreaking. You know, seeing them go Super Saiyan in this crazy situation. Like, I don't want to get too deep into theory crafting or make-believe scenarios. Like, maybe the Earth is about to be destroyed. They've got this new villain like Cell X, you know, like something like crazy, like not that crazy, but you know, a villain we're not accustomed to, and Goku's dead, Vegeta's dead, you know, whatever happened, they've died somehow, or they're off the planet and they've got to defend it, and Pan goes Super Saiyan crazy, like, you know, that would be really cool. And then of course seeing those guys, those females, like the girl characters, and then Goten, Trunks, and Oob, those are all characters that could be very good. And one thing I want to say too, I really liked how in the latest episode of Super, they were like, hey, when they left Marin behind on the island with Goten and Trunks to protect it from the poachers, 18 said, Marin is tougher than you think. Now, Marin was never a character that became a fighter, but wouldn't it be crazy if she's like, aside from Oob, because Oob doesn't really count because he's a reincarnation of Boo, if she's like the only real Earthling there, you know, that's actually a fighter? Wouldn't it be crazy if we have like this hybrid team of like all different types of beings, like Saiyans, Earthlings, you know, whatever the hell Oob technically would be. He's an Earthling technically, but like not really. So wouldn't it be crazy if we had that? And it's like half females, half males. That'd be great, man. Like the future of the show. I don't really think, just personally ending off here, I don't think they'll ever actually really go away from Goku or Vegeta or Gohan. But if they wanted to, right? Which once again, they won't, because marketing and those guys are way too profitable. But if they wanted to, they do actually have characters they can lean on. So, I don't know. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section down below. What do you think would happen? What do you think would be a crazy outcome for all this? Would that be something you'd be interested in? The future of the show being, or the series, the manga, everything being run by these characters? Let me know in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please consider subscribing. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.